Welcome to Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley here. And Emmanuel Acho over there. You ready to go to verbal war? Let's do it. All right, let's get it started. In Kansas City, did you see that sausage building they had sliced up? That was interesting. Where the Chiefs won their 5th straight game last night. But the offense was shaky. Patrick Mahomes had a rushing touchdown, but Sunday was the first time in his career he's been held without a passing touchdown in consecutive games. Wow. KC's defense stepped up, forcing 3 turnovers on the Broncos, including a pick 6. And Mahomes said when both sides of the ball are in sync, they'll, quote, be a hard football team to beat. So, Acho, are the Chiefs clearly the best team in the AFC?
Absolutely, Marcellus Wiley, and particularly 2 reasons. The first reason, the Chiefs and their defense, they have been blossoming like something we have not seen before. But the second reason, everything else in the AFC is unclear.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to start with reason number 1. We have to understand that the Chiefs' first 5 weeks of the season, they were giving up 33 points per game.
Ugh.
Since then, they're giving up 13 points per game. America. That's 3 touchdowns, y'all. 3 touchdowns, essentially, is the difference between what the Chiefs were giving up when the Chiefs were a very porous defense to what the Chiefs are currently giving up. When I look at it, Sel, obviously they are the best team because I am most sure about everything with the Chiefs. Right now, their defense is playing lights out, and their offense still has the greatest potential. So if you have the best defense in the National Football League realized, and you have the best offense in the National Football League unrealized, that means you still have the potential to be the best, then why would I doubt the Chiefs? If we look at what happened the year they won the Super Bowl, I think we have that full screen. If not, I'll talk through it with y'all.
Let's go.
Through 10 weeks of the season, they had the 19th best defense. But y'all remember how they turned it up the last 7, the last 6 weeks of the season. They had the first best defense, 6-4 through 10 weeks, 6-0 those last several weeks. We're seeing the exact same thing with the Chiefs this year. Now, I heard Nick Wright say it earlier. No, this Chiefs team couldn't beat the 2019 Chiefs team. But the 2019 Chiefs team is not on the schedule. Can this Chiefs team beat every other AFC team? In my best opinion, and I don't even have to have an opinion, in my sure known fact at this point in time, this Chiefs team, the best team in the AFC.
Oh, man, you, I love it. They're not the best team in the AFC. They're not even the best version of themselves.
I agree with that.
And they also don't know which way is up in terms of what they put together in game plan and what actually happens on the field in execution. Here's the thing about the Chiefs, and I know that they internally realize this, but hey, if you're winning ball games, we'll figure it out later as we accumulate these wins. The thing the Chiefs are thinking about internally is what is going on with us in terms of what we desire and what the reality is. This team is not supposed to be led by its defense, but hey, we'll take it because that's what's leading the charge right now. This team is not supposed to have an all-world quarterback who can't throw for even a passing touchdown. But hey, we'll take it as long as we get the W. But there are always 2 scoreboards, the dual scoreboards. One is by points. They win that one. They've won that one a lot of late. And then there's another one in terms of psychology, psyche, how you're really feeling, Uncle Mo, flow, emotions, whatever it is. And they're not responsible in that regard. Right now, this is a team that's looking at the second scoreboard like, we're losing, bruh, because this is not our formula. If someone told you right now, Acho, I need you to make your firest meal ever, I mean the most banging meal ever, you're going to go get some plantains, right? You told me some rice, some oxtails, right? I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do, right? And you know what you're going to do. And you know what the ingredients going to look like. And you know how much of the ingredients you're going to put in. And you know how you're going to stir it. And you know how long you're going to cook it, et cetera, et cetera. And then it comes out and you present that. The Chiefs are not in that position right now. Someone says, we need to see your best game. You know what they're going to say? We thought we knew what that was, which was Patrick Mahomes and his offense and these weapons. But what's happening now is they just get in the kitchen, grabbing anything and trying to throw it together. And what comes out more times than not is the defense leading the charge. Here's why I have issue with the defense leading the charge. The defense didn't even lead the charge when they won the Super Bowl in 2019. They just played up to an average, above average standard, while the offense and Patrick Mahomes was doing what the offense and Patrick Mahomes supposed to do. Here's the problem now, bro. Defense, go ahead and try and reflect and resemble 2019. Is Patrick Mahomes resembling 2019? Oh, no. Mahomes has had a passer rating below, say this right, Wiley, 75 by jersey number, Hall of Famer number, in 6 of his last 8 games. Patrick Mahomes has been sub-75 passer rating in 6 of his last 8 games and sub-63 completion percentage in 5 of his 6. Why do I bring that up? Because that ain't Patrick Mahomes. So if you're supposed to be the top chef, which we know you are. You're a $500 million player, and you were the reason they got to the Super Bowl. You were the reason they won that Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. And now you're not the reason that we are tasting your best meal? Oh, bruh, you don't know which way is up.
Okay, I like all that, but here's what I have to retort with is you said Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes. That is fair. That is true. We're going to talk more about this later. Okay. But Lamar Jackson's not Lamar Jackson.
Why already? Has he been to the Super Bowl? Has he? Ooh, finger. Sorry.
Josh Allen is not Josh Allen.
Has he been to a Super Bowl?
Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow.
Can he finish a game?
Justin Herbert ain't always been Justin Herbert. So I get that Patrick Mahomes ain't Patrick Mahomes, but you and I talked about this before. Everything in life is relative. Mm-hmm. So if something were falling, right? If this pen drops to the ground.
You still got it. You still got it.
A little something. As that pen drops to the ground, the only way I do not perceive it to be dropping to the ground is if I am falling simultaneously. Okay. So if I'm stationary and I watch this pen fall, obviously it's falling. But if I'm falling simultaneously, then the pen is actually just staying still. Patrick Mahomes might be descending at this point in time. But Lamar Jackson descending too. Joe Burrow descending too. Josh Allen descending too. So while you and I sit here as analysts on television, stationary, sure, it appears that Patrick Mahomes is descending. But Lamar Jackson is descending, Josh Allen is descending, Joe Burrow is descending. So in actuality and in reality, Patrick Mahomes isn't descending relative to the AFC. The question at hand is, are they the best team in the AFC? The answer is yes, but also the better answer is, so if I can trust the defense to be the number one defense in ball, and I know Patrick Mahomes has it in him, why would I doubt? Remember, we were scared for the Chiefs, Sal, just 5 weeks ago. They had the toughest remaining schedule in ball. They were sitting at 3-4, last in your former division, the AFC West. And since then, they've beaten 5 consecutive opponents, and 4 of the 5 had winning records at the time of the game. Top of the division. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Packers. I get it. Packers didn't have Rodgers. Raiders going through drama. Cowboys had their issues. It's the NFL. Everybody got issues. So as I look at it, they've beaten some of the best, if not the best. They beat the Broncos when the Broncos were hot. Beat the Raiders. Raiders were hot. Beat the Cowboys. Cowboys were America's team, been America's team. I'm not going to doubt the one team that I know can do it, and defense is doing it.
Okay, so you trust their defense, even though you don't trust their offense, and you don't trust Patrick Mahomes as even the guy in the mirror, Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Which defense is better? Because the answer to this question really is going to be solved tonight between the Patriots and the Bills. But which defense is better, Patriots or Kansas City? Which defense is better, Bills or Kansas City? Okay, who is closer to who they're supposed to be? Mac Jones, who is exceeding expectations, so obviously he's in first place. Josh Allen is closer to Josh Allen of last year than Patrick Mahomes is compared to Patrick Mahomes of last year or any other year. So by the just trust factor you giving me in terms of variables, I trust the Bills and the Patriots more than I trust the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs, you want to call them. Here's the thing. Who has the worst pass and total defense out of Patriots, Bills, Chargers, and Colts? Oh, why did I bring that up? Because it's the Chiefs. Who gives the ball away more? Pats, Bills, Chargers, or Colts? You know what it is. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know why you trust them. Even their rushing attack, because that's what you're going to need, balance, right? Here comes January football. You're going to need balance on offense because Patrick Mahomes is suspect right now. Well, the Patriots, the Colts, and the Bills all have better rushing attacks. So now, what do you trust about this team? Oh, you trust their name. You trust their uniforms. You trust their color. You trust what their legacy is of recency. Here's the problem with that. It takes me to this example. I don't know if you ever been this guy because you had a little money growing up, half your childhood. The first half you were broke. Then the second half looked like you came up with a little something. Okay. Did you ever have to borrow your boy's car? I don't know about that because I did. You know what I'm saying? I stole my mama's car and I had to borrow my boy's car. I was that broke. But you know what's interesting when you borrow someone's car and things happen on that day you got their car and you get a number or two and she looking at you twice at the red light and all that kind of stuff. You know what happens? You got this split kind of feeling towards what's happening. You love the fact that you're getting love, but then you're like, damn, I can't sustain this. This ain't my whip. This ain't why I'm getting all the love. So if you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at the Chiefs, I swear they getting that girl number with somebody else's car. I swear this ain't the team that they want to be because they know they're going to have to go back and get back on that bus. And they don't know if they can trust themselves still getting the same amount of love on that bus. They can't trust Patrick Mahomes going out there having consecutive games with no passing touchdown and still think they're going to pull some numbers. They know how the game goes. So, look, you can say it's good right now. It looks good with them W's, but your boy going to be like, can I get them keys back? Then we're going to see what you talking about.
I love that take. Let me build on it, Sel. Let me build on it. Shout. I know you've been in this situation. I know I've been in this situation. I've been in a situation where I felt under the weather. I might have felt sick. I might not have had a fresh haircut. You might have just been overweight. So, but I know we've been
we right there right now.
We've been in these situations where you go out to stay with your situation and people still checking for you even though you know you're not your best version of yourself.
Dude.
All day, big dog, all day. They checking for you and you're like, yo, I'm not even putting my best foot forward. Let's go track and field analogy.
Early.
If you still win a race and you didn't even run well, now you're like, oh, y'all don't have a chance if I run well.
Yeah.
I got these numbers. I ain't even got a fresh cut. Wait a second. Wait till your boy go to the barbershop and see what's really good. Imagine how it will be then. That's how I feel about these Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes hasn't thrown a touchdown pass 2 straight games. Yet they've won those games. You talk about passer rating, a statistic I don't love to subscribe to, but even still, Patrick Mahomes is at a passer rating below 75. 6 out of 8 games.
I said it.
But they've won 5 consecutive games. The Chiefs out here getting numbers without a fresh cut. They out here pulling numbers and they overweight. The Chiefs aren't even the best version of themselves, and they still making it shake. So that should make you more fearful of the Chiefs because you know these cats can win 5 straight games and Mahomes isn't playing at an MVP level. What in God's name will happen when Patrick Mahomes reverts back to Patrick Mahomes? Just like when Usain Bolt wins a race and he ain't even have a good start. We've seen this before. We saw this when Sha'Carri, I went to this meet in Oregon. This was back before all the weed stuff. Bro, she ran a 10-7 into the wind. What this means for y'all at home,
I remember that.
She's running with forces against her. Ran a 10.78 into the wind. Women's record all time is 10.49. We like, yo, imagine what happens if she has the wind to her back. Imagine how fast she gonna run. The Chiefs are 5-0 running into a headwind right now. They 5-0 with the forces against them because Patrick Mahomes is not playing his best self. Chiefs have beat the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Packers running into a headwind. You could argue the Packers not a headwind, but they beat all them teams with the forces against them because they ain't played them best version of themselves. They get a tailwind, Marcellus Wiley, they going to sprint all the way to the Super Bowl just like I predicted before the season started.
Sha'Carri got a tailwind. How'd that go? Did she break some records? Did she do anything? Did she come in last? Did she come in fourth? Tailwinds don't even give you a guarantee. Just like your example is interesting because they're not running into a headwind. A headwind is natural. What they're running into is not natural. They're running into something that they are creating themselves, which is just inadequate play, inadequate performance. That has nothing to do with natural forces. Let's torture this example, shall we? Because I brought it up and it was amazing, and then you used it against me. That didn't feel good. And now we're here. Here's the thing. There were times when I used to have a Big Daddy cane with a curly top. I used to have that, you know, a little conk in there, a little extra moisturizer, curl activator, curly's on top, special ed, and Big Daddy cane blend, right? I was that guy. And then there were times when it got rough. It got a little dusty up here. You know how it looks. Look in the mirror, right? When you're not right, there was always a reason I wasn't right. And people always want to be like, oh, man, when he get cut, he going to be cute. Oh, look at you look cute. And then when it's dusty, they're like, when you going to get a cut? There was a reason I didn't get a cut. I didn't have it. I just didn't have it. Patrick Mahomes is not missing the barber and skipping barber appointments just because, I'm busy today. You know why? He's having a career worst year. Do you know how long it's been since he got a fresh cut? Patrick Mahomes, dusty out here, dog. He has career worst in terms of how many losses he had this season. Already tied that. Career worst in completion percentage, touchdown percentage. Everywhere you look, Patrick Mahomes is the worst version of himself. And it's not because of anything natural. It's because he's created this for himself, which we're going to talk about going forward. My last point is this. I don't even want to make it all on Patrick Mahomes because he's not the entire team. He's just a boatload of their confidence. He's the lion's share of their confidence. And right now, you're not going to have a ton of confidence banking on their defense when the Bills have a better defense, Patriots have a better defense, and right now, better quarterback play. Let's keep it real. Chiefs are 13th in scoring offense. Okay, mid-pack. Even though the last 5 Super Bowl champs, all top 5. So there's some disqualifiers out there. They don't get to the quarterback. They're tied for 28th. 5 of the last 6 teams that went to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, they were all top half of the league. not bottom half of the league. Add all that up, I don't know why Patrick Mahomes keep missing the barber. But the barber right now is starting to say, hey, bro, that'd be $8. Coming up, Tom Brady was doing GOAT type thing. We stupid up here. Sunday, we'll tell you if he's clearly the MVP front runner. You owe me money, bro. But first, Lamar Jackson is a former MVP. Acho wanted to do this topic already. But we'll tell you if he's regressed after yesterday's nail-biting loss. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Let's head now to the AFC North, because Lamar Jackson, he threw a touchdown pass in the closing seconds Sunday to cut the Steelers' lead to 1 point. Now the Ravens went for 2, but Lamar threw an incomplete pass, a little out of reach, and Baltimore now 8-4. But the offense has failed to score at least 20 points in 4 consecutive games. 3 of those had their superstar as the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So, Sel.
Yeah.
Let's have a real conversation, big dog.
What that mean?
I know Lamar Jackson, your guy, man.
Don't try and soften me up. I'm going to do my job.
Has Lamar Jackson regressed?
No. Real conversation, no. Since you wanted to talk about this in the A block, but now we're in the B block, and we should talk about it right now, I'm going to reach back into the A block and tell you why he hasn't regressed. Patrick Mahomes has an offensive-minded head coach and a guru on the offensive side in Andy Reid. He also has Eric Bieniemy, who doesn't get enough respect and credit for what he does with that offense as well. But those things are constant. And there was only one time in history where I saw Andy Reid's offense not look the same, and that was when it was starting to sputter with Donovan McNabb at the end of their tenure together. And we come to realize that that wasn't on Andy Reid as much as that was on Donovan McNabb. Okay, so now you get to a situation where you're looking at Patrick Mahomes in this offense and see it sputtering now. Are you going to make the same mistake and try to blame Andy Reid in that moment, or are you going to actually understand that it's not about Andy Reid and the play calling, but it's about the execution of that quarterback that he has? Why do I bring that up? Just for perspective. Just to let you know that if you want to talk about the offensive coaches that are contributing to Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is certainly in decline and regression this year, let's talk about what Lamar Jackson is dealing with. His name is Greg Roman. Now, for those out there who wants to drop a pin in the A block and catch it, I can do it too. You ain't the only one balling. Here's the thing. I could do that. And then I know why you brought that up for a relative example. Let's bring some relativity to this conversation. And who is Greg Roman? Greg Roman is offensive coordinator who, for 8 seasons before this year, has had a top 10 rushing attack and a bottom 10 passing attack, including a last-ranked passing attack last year. But this year, Lamar Jackson, despite all the injuries all around and the lack of balance, at least by injury, to his running game, is on pace for a career high in yards per game in passing. Also has thrown a passing touchdown in every single game. We're looking at Lamar Jackson, at best, for a guy like you, who I'm assuming is going to take the opposite side, taking a step down, really, while he's on the escalator that's going already down. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing him in a situation not supplied with proper resources, not supplied with the proper offensive minds. And then you see him even staying still look like he's going down. But I got numbers, as I just gave you, and I got more, that suggest that Lamar Jackson is not regressing. But I'm not going to put it all on Greg Roman. I'm going to put a little on my man Lamar Jackson because I love him so much I got to talk to him like a brother from another. Lamar, here's the thing. You can't do it all. And I understand in this situation, when you don't have the running backs, when your best weapon is actually a tight end that should have caught that 2-point conversion yesterday, but tight ends don't know how to flip their hips like wide receivers and running backs, so therefore he slowed down and the ball missed him on the fingertips. When you're in this position and you're Lamar Jackson, you're the tremendous student at that bad school. And I get it. Those grades going to be weighed differently. But Lamar Jackson is not in regression. Anyone who says that must be out of their mind, wearing pink, looking like you. We'll see what you got to say about that, but Lamar Jackson, certainly no regression.
So do not do this, man. Don't sit here and try to make a mattress that's comfortable for Lamar Jackson to lie on. Lamar Jackson, a grown man, and he can walk and he can lie down on a bed that he's made himself. Clearly, Lamar Jackson has regressed. Clearly. That's fine. Patrick Mahomes has regressed too. Josh Allen has regressed too. That's fine. But Lamar Jackson has regressed. No. You don't even have to look any further than last night. That pass was an accurate throw.
Which one?
It could have been caught. The 2-point conversion.
You didn't catch me? Which one? There's a lot of them. Which one?
But truly, just watch this.
What do you mean truly? I saw it.
Lamar Jackson
broke my heart.
Hit him in the hands.
Yeah, make it stick.
Walk in or jog in
but he can't.
for a touchdown.
He's running around.
But we didn't got to look at that.
Okay,
because we can look at the simplified numbers. Lamar Jackson has thrown nearly as many interceptions this year alone than he threw in the last 2 seasons. So look at Lamar Jackson's passer rating. I don't even like passer rating.
Well, why you bring it up?
Simplify things. Look at even his rushing average and his rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, pocket passer.
It is beyond evident that Lamar Jackson has regressed. The only saving grace is everybody, too, in the AFC has regressed. Justin Herbert, statistically, he's regressed from his rookie season of last year. Joe Burrow, we didn't see very much of him, but Josh Allen, he's regressed. Patrick Mahomes, he's regressed. So the question is not, has Lamar Jackson regressed?
Wow.
The answer there is yes. The question is, why has Lamar Jackson regressed? And the second question is, does it matter? Because everybody else has regressed. You can answer doesn't matter. My next lap, I'll show y'all why he's regressed.
Oh, okay. So an escalator coming down from heaven is someone who is descending to you, right? Yes. But where is he coming from? Lamar Jackson has the NFL record for most wins at his age right now. Move past Dan Marino, the first quarterback that I ever played against that made the ball whistle when it went by. Literally, I was trying to block the ball and missed the ball. Thank God I did. I heard it go by like a rocket. That's who he just passed in terms of most wins at this age. But that's regression to you. Interesting. Okay. Is it regression to you that if you look at this team, all you see right now is a system that's not designed to have inflated numbers? I bring you to this. Do you remember when the San Francisco 49ers had Colin Kaepernick? Remember he came in for the shortened season after Alex Smith got hurt, and they came in, they went to the Super Bowl, almost won the Super Bowl. Next year he had a full tilt, all 16 games. You know what his numbers were? 21 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He caught the world on fire. He made everybody think this dude is next level, which he was in that moment, being real. 21 touchdowns? All of a sudden, I'm starting to look at it like maybe it's the system, not so much the individual, because Colin Kaepernick was balling. And even with him balling, those numbers are not going to be impressive. But then you see a guy like Lamar Jackson who wins a unanimous MVP in that same system, who obviously is going to regress from unanimous MVP. Why? There are only 2 in NFL history. So I think what you're trying to give me is he's lesser than himself. Okay, but regression? That acts like that is on Lamar Jackson, and he's actually going to a negative place when really he's just sustaining his greatness because of all the issues around him.
Here's what I will caution you, and here's what I will caution y'all. Lamar Jackson, is he and has he descended from the heavens? Sure.
Yes. Say yes.
Yes. But for those that subscribe to any sort of faith in biblical philosophy, the devil descended from the heavens too. And we saw where he ended up. So again,
it was a choice.
It's not a matter of if Lamar Jackson has regressed. That answer is yes. The question is, why has he regressed? And the answer is coming shortly over at the Big
Boy, you got a God complex talking about you got the answers. What you talking about?
Lord, as long as I ain't the devil, I'll tolerate it, Sal. As long as I ain't the devil, it's going to be all right. If you watch the tape, week 6, something pivotal happened. The Los Angeles Chargers said, we're not going to be scared of you, Lamar Jackson. We're going to blitz you. A 75% blitz rate is what the Chargers did in week 6. So first, let me show you the numbers. Lamar Jackson from week 1 to week 5. How did Lamar Jackson look? Well, he was fairly strong. 8 passing touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 47%, though, was the blitz rate. Then week 5, week 6, the Chargers said, hey, we going to light you up. By week 7, when they played the Bengals, they smelled blood in the water. And the Bengals took what the Chargers laid out, and they ran with it, and teams have been sprinting since. Again, Bengals are going to bring 7 people. The Bengals, on 3rd down, they blitzed 64% of the time. They said, Lamar, we're not giving you time to think. We going to bring 7 and see how you react. Lamar Jackson, pressure, nowhere to go, scrambling, sack. Teams took what the Bengals did, and since then have been building up until last night's game. Steelers, it's 3rd down. Lamar Jackson, he's in the red zone. Steelers ain't scared. What we gonna do? We gonna bring 6. Y'all do the math. Offensive line, it only has 5. 6 is greater than 5, which means 1 man is free. Ravens offensive line, they did okay. Leave the free man TJ Watt to Lamar Jackson's front side, but Lamar Jackson scrambles 3rd down, easy interception. After week 6, when the Chargers laid out the blueprint, Bengals smelled blood in the water, ran with it. Every team since then has run with it. Look at the blitz rate on 3rd down. Y'all know in the NFL, we call 3rd down money down. Now on 3rd down, Lamar Jackson being blitzed 64% of the time. Lamar Jackson passing touchdowns 8, interceptions 10. Lamar Jackson passer rating 72. Y'all remember, weeks 1 through 5, Lamar Jackson was blitzed 47% of the time. 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. Week 6 through now, 64% of the time. 8 touchdowns, 10 picks. Lamar Jackson has regressed, but because teams figured out a blueprint on money downs and the Ravens haven't adjusted.
You know what? I'm not going to be argumentative up here.
That's the first.
You ain't lied. My wife is sitting there echoing what you just said as well. Boy, I'm an argumentative dude, especially off camera. Good Lord, I go at it. I will say this, because I do know this. In anything you do in the NFL, there's going to be a response to it. No matter what you think, you go out there and do, I'm going to hit them with that rip move. Okay, well, they're going to stop that rip move. Now you got to come with a club. You got to come with a swim. You got to come with an inside count. You got to come with something else. But we're going to stop that rip. He hasn't responded to their response. And that's the thing. Look, Patrick Mahomes, same thing. There's been a calculation out there. Blitz Lamar. 2 deep safeties on Patrick Mahomes. Let's see what they do. And they're just outside their comfort zone. Now, simple math, the reason why good players stay good and not great is because they just can't do anything beyond simple math. Hey, I did the equation. You guys have an answer to it. That's it. You got to do calculus when you want to repeat great performances and year to year be considered one of the greats. This is going to be a moment of truth for Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, et cetera. How are they going to do the deeper math, the calculus, to respond to their greatest challenge so far? Respond to the response. That said, come on, big dog. Greg Roman, he ain't the one. The Lamar Jackson Ravens are you ever ride around on donuts? You ever just have a flat, got to ride the donut? Run flats. You know what I'm saying? Run flats, 50 miles. We give you 50 miles. You got a nail in your tire, 50 miles. Not 51, bro. Go get that thing fixed. You look at their situation. When I see Tyreek Hill on one side of the ball, when I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes, and then I see Hollywood Brown, I'm like, not the same level, right? When I see Travis Kelce and I see Mark Andrews, who is a beast, but he's a throwback, man. He's like a Mark Bavaro plus. Like, that's an old school tight end who is like your best weapon. You're already down to your 3rd, 4th best running back because of injuries. And then you look at Lamar Jackson, who's still completion percentage basically the same, yards up, yards per game up. And you look at it, you're like, Lamar Jackson is trying to keep this thing afloat. When they out there really on 4 run flats, man, they on 4 donuts right now, and Lamar Jackson's the only reason you see this thing going. He's in a situation, I don't know about you, Acho, that I used to be in. Right now, everything I pay for, monthly statements, bills, etc., auto pay. My CPA, my business manager, auto pay. Like, just take it out, all right? Growing up, it wasn't like that. It wasn't no auto pay. It was me at the kitchen table, the envelopes open, half open. All right, let me do this math in my head. And it's already, I just paid the bills on the 3rd or 4th, late. And then I'm already running next month's bills on the kitchen table trying to figure it out because I know I'm in for it. It's a struggle right now. If you look at everything in resources for the Lamar Jackson Ravens, it's a struggle. Sel, my man is just out there trying to pay the bills, and you over there hating on this.
Let me tell you what you sound like, Sel. You sound like that kid who came home with a bad report card and you trying to reason with your parents as to why you got all these bad grades. But mama, the teacher was absent for 3 of the last 4 classes, and so I didn't really. But mama, the dude sitting next to me, he just be loud. But mama, the girl to my right, she just be chewing all that, so I can't really be. But mama, remember my calculator, the batteries died, and I told you I needed them triple A's, and you got me them double A's. So mama,
it's a big ass calculator.
You giving me all these excuses, Sal, and all we are here doing is analyzing the report card.
Yes,
the report card is significantly worse than the report card used to be.
No, it's not.
Is Lamar Jackson playing without J.K. Dobbins? Yes. Is he playing without Gus Edwards? Yes. Is he playing without Justice Hill? Yes. Was he playing without his first-round receiver Bateman for 5 weeks of the season? Yes. Did Deshaun Elliott get hurt? L.J. Fort get hurt? Marcus Peters get hurt? And now Marlon Humphrey get hurt? Yes, 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 and yes. But we're talking about the report card. The report card says Lamar Jackson has regressed. Does Lamar Jackson have every excuse in the world for his regression? Absolutely. But that wasn't the question. The question was, did he regress? You telling me how rough the tide is, I just want you to dock the ship. I don't care about all these excuses.
No.
Is Lamar Jackson still keeping the Ravens team
now you
afloat
got me fired
enough?
up. You got me fired up.
The fact of the matter is, he regressed.
No, he's not.
So I don't care about all these C's and these D's. I don't care about all the excuses. I see C's, I see D's, and I see an occasional B.
Yeah.
We used to see unanimous A's.
Yeah. And you still see A's on there, but now you're looking past them because you got used to it. Unanimous MVP, only 2 in the world. He one of them. But now you're used to him being valedictorian. Now you're like, where are these B's coming from? The hell? Who are you, mama? Who are you, daddy? You don't go to school every day. You don't know what I'm dealing with. All them bangers coming at me before I even hit the campus. Homeboy. I talk to my parents for real, and they talk back to me. Here's the thing. You lazy. You don't want to do your job today. That's what it is. In the A block, you want to talk about the B block. In the B block, you don't want to hear it. You lazy today. All right, let me call you out since you want to talk about it. When you came home with that bad grade and your parents didn't have the knowledge, you had to have a conversation. What's up with this class? You had to talk about biology. Why you got a B- in biology and I see A's everywhere? You had to explain it because all they see is a letter. All we see is a number. I'm trying to give you some explanation, some definition to those same letters, to those same numbers. But you don't want to go through that? You don't want to look at Greg Roman, who has never had anybody who continuously has great numbers, great letter grades. You don't want to look at the situation with all the injuries. Without Lamar Jackson, what would this look like? Good
That's
Lord.
Not the question.
No, it's a building block to the logic, to the answer of this same question. Because Patrick Mahomes, who you want to bring up so often, let's bring him up again. What's his excuse? He can't even say nothing. He says, Mama, look, my brother been TikToking, I've been peeping at it. It's just a life. It's vibe out here. He has no reason. Lamar Jackson at least has, okay, I get it. I didn't take you to school on time all the time. Okay, I get it. We did take that long vacation you missed from school. Like, there are real fundamental reasons why Lamar Jackson potentially has a B or B- on his report card. Please give me that same reason. Keep it level for Patrick Mahomes.
What I will do is this, Sal.
Yeah.
You are taking a multiple choice test and you are writing short answers. This is a multiple choice test.
I hate it.
B, C, D. This is not a short answer.
Is there
test.
any of them, all of the above, or none of the above? That was the worst. You were like, I don't know, dog.
A, B, C, and D is hard enough. Why y'all adding the E, all of the above, and the F, none of the above? Now teachers just doing too much. You just doing too much, Sal.
You got me up here sweating too, so you might be right. Staying in the NFL, congratulations to the 6 winners who split Terry Bradshaw's $100,000 yesterday playing Fox Bet Super 6. Scan the QR code right now and make your picks for next Sunday's contest. There are winners every week, and you could be next. Don't miss out. Free to play. Boy, I had a workout trying to save that dude. Coming up, watch out for Washington. That's what I'm hearing. We'll tell you if they have the Cowboys' number after another win. That's next on Speak for Yourself. This week on Thursday Night Football, it's a clash of playoff hopefuls. Big Ben and the Steelers head to Minnesota to face Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Thursday Night Football, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. I finished on that top horn, too. Washington was down late on Sunday, but Taylor Heineke, I have a double, led his squad on a rally to beat the Raiders with a go-ahead field goal. Washington has now won 4 straight, y'all, after previously losing 4 in a row. They're 2 games behind the Cowboys in the NFC East and just so happen to play Dallas on Sunday on Fox. And once again, 2 weeks after that. So, Acho, does Washington have the Cowboys' attention?
Absolutely. Washington has and should have the attention of the entire National Football League. Washington controls their own destiny. I repeat, Washington controls their own destiny. Never would have thought that when you realize Taylor Heineke was taking over as the quarterback 11 weeks ago. But if Washington wins out, they're in the playoffs, and it is not going to be that hard for them to win out. 5 more games, 5 divisional opponents. Like the Cowboys, Washington is 1-0 in the division. Cowboys are 2-0 in the division. Like the Cowboys, Washington is undefeated in the division that is. Washington simply has to beat the Giants, the Eagles twice, the Cowboys twice, and just like that, Washington would not only make the playoffs, they'd win the division. What? So Washington has my attention. They should definitely have the Cowboys' attention. This is the same Washington team that won the NFC East last year, starting to resemble the NFC least, or at least the NFC lesser again this year. Taylor Heineke, he's only started 13 career games if you include the playoffs. So Taylor Heineke is going to continue to get better exponentially, while Dak Prescott will either get better or he will stay the same, or he'll get better incrementally. Taylor Heineke is going to get better exponentially. Washington, Sell, though, the most interesting thing about Washington, they just find a way to win.
They do.
Simple as that.
I get that.
Like, I look at them. Offensively, I believe they rank 24th. Defensively, they rank 20th. But they've won 5 consecutive football games. They've won, Sell, by a score of 17-15 the last 2 games. For y'all that just love statistics, just love fun, or just love the NFL, we've only seen that score 14 times. There's a 0.0% chance that happens. 0.06, I believe. So Washington just finds a way to win. Even if the score has only happened 14 times in the history of the NFL, Washington will find that score, duplicate that score, and win with that score. Dallas better be on alert, because I'm on alert.
Okay, you know damn well they don't have the Cowboys' attention. But since you're on alert for the Washington football team, can you give him a mascot? Like, it's about time, dog. Like, my son, my 6-year-old son, MJ, dear to my heart, is like, Daddy, what's the name of that team? And I was like, Washington. He was like, what's FT? I was like, oh, FaceTime. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what to tell my son. They need to get a mascot. All right, here's the thing. Since you're on attention and the Dallas Cowboys are not, I knew you were going to come up here and wax poetic. I know when you're going to do something like this, you're going to move the hand, you're not going to give me eye contact, and you're going to say stuff like this. Washington controls their own destiny, y'all. I say it again, America. Washington controls their own destiny, y'all. So do the Dallas Cowboys, damn it. And a better destiny because they're 2 games ahead of this team, and they get to face them twice. And then you come up here and wax poetic like, I don't know, they just find ways to win games. Even though Dallas has won more games, but I guess they don't find a way to win those games. Dallas has a better offense every way you look at it. Dallas is better in taking the ball away every way you look at it. And Dallas is better on defense in terms of giving up fewer points per game. So wait a minute, you got a better offense. You give up fewer points, and you take the ball away. Where are you getting this attention or this cause of concern from? I don't see it. I look at Taylor Heineke, who I am impressed with. I'm not going to disparage the young man. However, compared to Dak, Captain America, boy, stop. Dak is top 10 in everything. Taylor Heineke is begging to be top 10 in 2 things, and one of them he tied for 9th. The other one is completion percentage. Giveaways, tied for 9th. Everything else is mid-pack, if not getting a little lower than mid-pack. I will repeat this. This is a team that is exceeding expectations. I will repeat this. But let's not be the fan in the stands who at track meets is applauding for the 8th place finisher because give it up for Timmy, because Timmy's coming through and everybody's saying, oh, Timmy. And you know what I don't like about that? Look, respect to Timmy. He finished the race even though he got dead ass last as a turtle. Here's the thing I don't respect. They didn't clap for the first 7. Second place, 3rd place, 4th place. When you win, no claps. But then we give these, oh, my God, I didn't expect you to be here, and you're finishing. Bruh, this team is behind another team that you're not clapping loud enough for. So if you don't want to give Dallas their flowers, I hate to do it to you, but I'm going to dance on the grave of the Washington. No mascots.
There is no grave, Sailor. If there was, they rose up like Lazarus. Y'all get that later. What we do in football is we analyze cycles of film. A cycle of film is the last 4 weeks. What we do when we're studying the tape, we analyze a cycle of film. So if we were to do that for the Dallas Cowboys, in the last 4 weeks, they are 2-2. Stretch that out to 5 weeks. The last 5 weeks, they are 2-3. Analyze a cycle of film for Washington. The last 4 weeks, they are 4-0. Extrapolate that, make that into 5 weeks, they are 5-0. So if we just look at a cycle of film, then what we get is that Washington is presently playing at a higher rate than the Cowboys. But bump the cycle. If you're the Cowboys and you look at the season, the team and the Buccaneers that beat the Cowboys, Washington beat. The team and the Raiders that just beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, Washington beat. Cowboys haven't lost too many games this season. And the games that they have lost, where they would say, well, you know, at least we were at a higher level of capacity, the Bucs, that Bucs team, Washington beat. The Raiders, when the Cowboys had everything to play for, you don't want to lose 2 games in a row. You just lost to the Chiefs. Plus, it's Thanksgiving, short week. You're at home, national television. That Raiders team that beat the Cowboys, Washington beat. So when we look at mutual opponents here, good mutual opponents, Washington has beat them both. I understand that the Cowboys are 8-4 and Washington is only 6-6. But Sel, the NFL is a what have you done for me lately league. Not a what have you done for me. What have you done for me lately? Please sleep on Washington if you want to. But if the team can beat the Bucs, then the team can beat the Cowboys. If the team can beat the Raiders, oh yeah, and the Raiders beat the Cowboys, then this team can beat the Cowboys. Cowboys have a 2-game lead. But they got a 2-game lead and you got to play Washington twice. So that 2-game lead to Washington is irrelevant. That 2-game lead to the Giants might matter. 2-game lead to the Eagles might matter. But a 2-game lead when you got to see that team twice, it truly means nothing. So I remember my second year in Philadelphia. LaShawn McCoy, DeMarco Murray, top 2 running backs in the National Football League by rushing yards. Cowboys had to play us, the Eagles, last game of the season. Not only was playoffs going to be decided by that game, but more importantly to us as a defense, or just as importantly, I won't say more importantly, we wanted to make sure that LaShawn McCoy got the rushing title. All right. So the only thing that mattered in that game was the fact that DeMarco, you had to play us. And Shady, you had to play them.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters to the Cowboys being 2 games ahead is you got to play Washington twice, and Washington, you got to play the Cowboys. That 2-game lead means nothing. All that matters is what happens when they play each other, because if Washington wins both those games and happens to win another one or two, Washington all of a sudden will win that division.
Man, I didn't know that I had known you so long in my life. I thought I just met you like, what was that, 6, 7 years ago? Turns out those track meets when I was 8, 9, 10, you were in the crowd rooting for mediocrity. All right, Timmy, finish up. Woo! Woo! Meanwhile, I've been done for an hour in the 400, and I ain't getting no claps. Oh, yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. That's what he's supposed to do. Look at him. He runs for the Jets. Look at him. He won the National. Look at him. He's no claps at all. That's what you're doing. You're rooting for mediocrity. It's okay. I love how we give props to a team because we didn't see them coming. That's what I hate about this industry. I hear it all the time. Somebody be like, and look who's come out of nowhere. Nowhere, not to them. They're somewhere. They're just not where they want to be. But we going to give them extra flowers because who saw this? Who saw that Taylor Heineke will lead the Washington FaceTimers to 6-6? Who? Maybe they did. I certainly didn't. And I'm also not going to applaud them because you tell me, hey, Sal, check it out. They only 2 back. That means nothing. Oh, it means something to me if I'm 2 up, because guess what? I play you twice, I could be 4 up. You don't look at it that way, but that's how the Dallas Cowboys are looking at it. So since you don't look at it the way I do, and I'm not seeing it the way you do, let's have fun. Let's have a game up here called Pick'em. Ready? Pick'em. Okay. Dak Prescott or Taylor Heineke? Pick'em. Dak. All right. 1 point for Acho. 1 point for me. It's my game. All right. Cowboys offense or the Washington FaceTimers? Which one?
Cowboys.
2 points for you, 2 for me. It's my game. All right. Dallas Cowboys defense or the Washington FaceTimers?
Cowboys.
Don't you got a time clock. Come on. And which one?
Cowboys.
Exactly. Where are you getting this confidence from? You're an underdog by heart, by nature. Nobody wakes up wanting to be an underdog. You just deal with it. Washington FaceTimers are dealing with the fact that they're not as good as the Dallas Cowboys, but they're scrappy. But why are you saying that they got their attention when they're not the better bunch?
So, because once again, if we wanted to play a game called Not Pick'em, I would simply do this. Eating salt in isolation. Yes or no?
Last night.
Absolutely not. You're not eating salt by itself. You're not just sitting here and down some salt. Eating flour in isolation.
Oh, no. And you got me on that one.
Eating a raw egg in isolation.
I've done it, but nah.
Exactly right.
I ain't Rocky.
But you mix a little flour, you mix a little raw egg, you mix a little salt, add a little bit of butter, add a little bit of sugar. I know you eating the cake because I seen you eat the cake. I seen them a couple 2-minute cakes. Cupcakes included, butter cakes, vanilla cakes, chocolate cakes, all types of cakes. So with that being said, Sal, you can't talk to me about individual statistics, individual people, individual parts of the ball.
Really?
Because Washington finds a way to make it all add up and all make sense. I understand that the Cowboys in isolation got better pieces, but here's the most interesting thing y'all have to watch for. What Washington actually does best is defend the run. When the Cowboys play Washington, it's going to be a Dak Prescott game. Because Washington doesn't defend the pass well at all. So if Dak plays like the Dak we know he's capable of, Cowboys win with ease. But if Dak does not play like that Dak, it's a wrap. Beyond that, let's not act like Washington is mediocre. I remember, I took a biology class my freshman year in high school, and I got a 58 on the test.
58 out of what, 100? Still out of 100?
Out of 100.
Yay.
But here's the thing. The average score was, I believe, maybe a 47.
Oh, okay.
So after the teacher curved everybody up, I realized, what appears to be mediocre from a distance, when you zoom in from a micro perspective, is actually fairly good. Washington is 6-6, appears to be mediocre. But when you zoom in and realize they're 6th in the NFC, all of a sudden that's far ahead of average. They're 6th, about to make the playoffs. That's far ahead of mediocrity. So while you look from a bird's eye view like I did at my 58, wait for all the other scores to come in. Because when you see the Lions come in at 1-10, when you see the Seahawks and the Bears come in and the Giants come in with 4 wins, when you see the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints come in with 5 wins, all of a sudden you realize what is 6-6 isn't mediocre at all. You got to change your vantage point, sir.
Man, well, your vantage point was changed because you were around a bunch of failing students and you got a D and was pumped. Oh, yeah, I'm killing these Fs. Get out of here. Talk to me about attention. You ain't getting my attention when I'm better than you. That's that point. Okay? I'm going to use my confidence against you. While you're trying to climb your way out of that hole, I'm going to stomp on your head and make sure you stay in that hole. That's what the Dallas Cowboys have to do. That said, you said, what if Dak doesn't play like Dak? What if Dak doesn't play like Dak? Interesting. When Dak's the better of the two. The real question is, what if Taylor Heineke, I don't know, plays like Taylor Heineke? That may not be enough. Woo. Catch that one. Coming up, Tom Brady has 3 MVP awards on his resume. We're going to see if we're going to add a number 4 to that. We'll tell you if the GOAT is clearly the MVP frontrunner. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Tom Brady continued to stake his claim as the NFL MVP on Sunday. The Bucs won their 3rd straight game, and Brady threw for over 300 yards with 4 touchdown passes, adding to his league lead in both categories. GOAT has the best odds to win the MVP award according to Fox Bet Sportsbook, ahead of Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers. So, Acho, is Tom Brady clearly the MVP frontrunner?
Well, he is if you only look at the quarterback position. If you look at the quarterback position, Tom Brady leads in passing yards, leads in passing touchdowns, leads in completions. He leads in 3 major categories. But if you, like I, because I was a defender, can step away back from the quarterback position, you might find a man named Jonathan Taylor who should also be at the front of the MVP conversation. Because Jonathan Taylor leads in rushing yards. Yeah. He leads in scrimmage yards. He leads in rushing touchdowns. He leads in total touchdowns outside quarterbacks. So Jonathan Taylor leads the NFL in just as many statistical categories, meaningful statistical categories, as Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady, he wins the popularity vote. Yeah. Tom Brady wins the narrative story. Last year, Tom Brady didn't get an MVP vote, and yet he goes around and wins a Super Bowl. Yeah. MVP voters are not going to make that same mistake. But the same credit I give Tom Brady, I got to give Jonathan Taylor, because what Jonathan Taylor has done and what the Colts team have been able to do because of Jonathan Taylor is just as, if not more impressive than Tom Brady.
Okay, I want to see how impressive you are. While I'm talking, do what you normally do, which is not pay attention to me. Look at your papers and get your notes, because you don't listen to me. You're just waiting to talk again. I know how it goes. But can you also add to your plate top 5 running backs that you've ever seen, okay? Just, over time, we're going to get to that part. I'm going to beat that argument up. But, yeah, Tom Brady's clearly the MVP frontrunner, unless you want to do a lot of legwork to go nowhere. If there's a tie between a quarterback and any other position in terms of how well you're playing, the tie goes to the quarterback, right? So just by that fact, I'm going to disqualify Jonathan Taylor. But we're going to have some fun in disqualifying him. Now, let's talk about Tom Brady as I just dropped my pen. Let's talk about Tom Brady, who... let me illustrate this in proper form with a full screen and talk about this old dog. Well, he's up to some new tricks. Look at Tom Brady. Most games with 4+ passing touchdowns in the NFL single season. Look at these years and look at these names and look at these players. Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. What's up? Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Dan Marino. Okay, take it away. Take it away. You want to know what I see from all of those guys? What's the one thing in common between all those guys in those years? Go ahead, I just say it. They all won the MVP. Tom Brady's put himself in position to win the MVP. Why? He has more passing touchdowns than everyone. He has more total touchdowns than everyone. He has more passing yards per game than everyone. And he has more total yards per game than everybody except Lamar Jackson, who's a regression according to you, but I don't think that's regression, but I digress. Point being, it's his trophy again. And again, he's going to get his 4th MVP. Respect to Tom Brady, the GOAT.
I like it. And I don't even fully disagree with it, right?
Oh, okay.
I think Tom Brady is the MVP frontrunner. Okay. I am agreeing with you. I'm just saying, as a subheader, like you see a show has a title, a book has a title, but then it has a subhead. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor has to be in that subhead conversation. Tom Brady, what's so impressive to me, that he's done is he has withstood the loss of Rob Gronkowski. When Gronk was out, they still were 4-2 when Gronk was out those 6 games. When AB was out prior to all the COVID nonsense, he still had a 500 record without Gronk and without AB. So what Tom Brady is doing is miraculous, plus at his age, plus just with all the absences around him. We've never seen anything like it before. Tom Brady is the front runner. But I just hate that we might have and are having a lazy narrative, that we just look at the top and say, oh, well, Tom Brady, you're sitting right there. You lead in most statistical categories. Yeah, we'll vote for you. But the fact that Jonathan Taylor has the Colts team at the door of the playoffs, right? The 7th seed has 7 wins. The Colts currently have 7 wins. Colts just have 1 more loss because they have already played that additional game. The fact that Jonathan Taylor is with Carson Wentz, and I love me some Carson Wentz, but defenses are not scared of Carson Wentz. Defenses aren't sitting in 2 high safeties, and yet Jonathan Taylor is still out here balling, is why I'm like, we have to pay some more respect to Jonathan Taylor.
Facts.
Tom Brady is out here killing it and will likely win the MVP once again, particularly because in a year where so many quarterbacks have struggled, Burrow's had bad games, Herbert's had bad games, Lamar's had several bad games, Josh Allen we know has had bad games. In a year where so many quarterbacks have struggled, Tom Brady truly hasn't. But we just have to stop being so lazy and saying that the MVP goes to the best quarterback. Shouldn't the MVP go to the person who's most valuable? And the fact that the Colts are still sitting in the conversation of making the playoffs and really making some noise is all because of Jonathan Taylor.
I don't think I'm lazy. I think I'm properly sorting this through. I'm not going to force something just because I want someone to get some respect and some credit put on their name. They're going to get what they deserve. They're going to get what they get. You're only going to eat what you kill. That said, I don't know what banquets you went to growing up, but I went to a lot of banquets where I was sitting there and they were like, the MVP. I was like, damn, I got to get up again. And then they were like, most outstanding. I'm like, who the hell is most outstanding? Who this dude? Who this baby MVP, old fake MVP ass, right? Jonathan Taylor, you can win all them other things. Best offensive player. Like, oh, go ahead. MVP of this league is Tom Brady. Now, top 5 running backs. I want to hear it. Did you get your list together?
I did get my list.
Okay, let's do it. I want to just make a point right here.
I got Sweetness. Walter Payton.
Okay, yep. You didn't see him play, but I get it.
Just top 5.
Oh, yeah, do you.
I got Barry Sanders.
Yep.
I got Adrian Peterson.
Yes, me too.
Am I allowed to say OJ?
Yeah, why not?
You never know.
R. Kelly make good songs. Other than that,
Okay, I got OJ, and I got LaShawn McCoy.
Man, hometown. I don't need the home.
I played with him, so I saw firsthand the stuff that Shady was capable of doing.
Okay.
Do you not remember that snow game in Detroit where he acted like it was 75 and sunny? That's all I got to say.
Snow game or no game? Nah, respect to Shady. He ain't LT, who I played with, so I just trumped yours. LT, Damian Tomlinson. Okay, Adrian Peterson,
Yep.
Emmitt Smith. You forgot Emmitt.
I thought Emmitt, but I didn't think talent was going to go Emmitt. Go ahead.
I know you hate your hometown.
I love Emmitt.
Okay.
I got a poster still.
Why didn't you put Jim Brown? You put Sweetness there.
I thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
He probably from Dallas,
Keep
too.
going.
I got Barry Sanders on here 4 times. At least 4 times. Like 4 of the slots already taken. My point is this. Other than Emmitt, we're on the championships. Like, it goes through the quarterback position. Like, Emmitt got his, a few, 3. LT, Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders, Like, that's the point. That's why Ty goes to quarterback. It's not lazy. It's just appropriate. Coming up, Kansas City won last night, but Patrick Mahomes, my man struggled. We'll tell you if we're concerned about the Chiefs quarterback next. Don't speak for yourself.
The Chiefs won their 5th straight game last night, but it wasn't all positive, depending on who you ask. Patrick Mahomes, he did have a rushing touchdown, but Sunday was the first time in his career he's been held without a passing touchdown in consecutive games. Now, after the game, Mahomes said, as a competitor, quote, "You want to be better," close quote. Sel, are you concerned with Patrick Mahomes despite the Chiefs' win?
I am. I'm seriously concerned for Patrick Mahomes because I don't think he can figure out Patrick Mahomes just yet. Forget figuring out your opponents. That's secondary. First, you got to master yourself. And Patrick Mahomes, for a while there, had us all believing that he had mastered himself and the craft of playing the quarterback position. But now we come to realize, Patrick Mahomes, man, I don't think you know which way is up in terms of fundamentals, in terms of technique at that position. The deeper math, as I talk about all the time, the calculus, not just the simple math. Patrick Mahomes is still tricking and treating, and it ain't Halloween no more. Know what I mean by that when I say that, because there are some people who get real dressed up, real fancy, real fresh, just to impress you. Tons of makeup, whatever it may be. Hey, this is my disguise, and I'm going to get your attention, your love, because I'm wearing it. But sooner or later, you got to take that off. And now we're starting to look at Patrick Mahomes without the makeup, without the disguise, without the costume on. We're starting to say, fundamentals, technique, is he sound at the position? That's my issue with him. Let's bring this home. The beauty of my career is this. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. I got to touch all 4 corners of the room. I got to be the guy who came in from the small school, like, yeah, right, he ain't going to do nothing. Then I got to be the guy who was like, he made the team, made some noise. Then, man, Marcel's out here killing it. And then, damn, that's still Marcel's? He looks suspect. He looks sorry. The reason why I love my career is because I got to touch all 4 corners of the room. I got perspective. I got not only to get on stage, but to go behind the curtain, to see the difference between good and great. Here's what I learned. There were plays out there that I could make. There were plays out there that I made. But I only felt great about the plays that I was responsible for and did it the right way. You know why? Even though the crowd is yelling, oh, look at that, go get him, Wiley. I know on the inside, if I continue to replicate that, that's going to lead to disaster. I think right now we're at a crossroads with Patrick Mahomes, where because of year after year, play after play, he was doing it unconventionally. He was doing it the Patrick Mahomes way. He was redefining the way you're supposed to do it. Everyone got lost in that sauce. But now the costume's off. Now the makeup's off. Now we're starting to realize Patrick Mahomes, consecutive games, no passing touchdowns. We're starting to realize Patrick Mahomes, 5 of his last 6 games, 6 of his last 8 games, 75 passer rating or less. We're starting to see who Patrick Mahomes really is. And unfortunately, until he responds, you got to have some concerns about Patrick Mahomes.
So it's crazy. I'm not concerned at all about Patrick Mahomes winning and throwing no touchdown passes. I think this consecutive streak of Patrick Mahomes with no touchdown passes while winning is the best thing that will happen to Patrick Mahomes. Here's why. Tom Brady's best ability outside of his availability is his pliability. Tom Brady's ability to say, you know what? Over the course of his career, if I got to throw for 5 touchdown passes in a game for us to win, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I will also be humble enough to realize if I only have to throw for a touchdown pass because the defense isn't going to give it to me today and I got to let my running game meet, I'll do that as well. Tom Brady can say, you know what? If I have to go into the Super Bowl and set a Super Bowl record in passing yards, which he did against the Eagles, to give my team the best chance to win, I'll do that. But Tom Brady can also go into the Super Bowl and say, well, you know what? If I'm only going to throw for 200 passing yards against the Chiefs to win a Super Bowl, I'll do that as well. Tom Brady's best ability, his pliability, his ability to have little, his ability to have a lot and be content in all situations. Patrick Mahomes is learning that ability right before our very eyes. He's learning it at a very young age. So the best record in 2021 from quarterbacks who have thrown 2 touchdowns or fewer, Tom Brady, he's 4-2. Aaron Rodgers, he's 7-1. Kyler Murray, he's 4-1. Patrick Mahomes, he's 5-2. Mac Jones, he's 7-4. These great quarterbacks and Mac Jones, who is doing great in the system that he is in, but the others are either have MVPs or will be an MVP candidate, Kyler Murray, they have realized we can still win even if I don't individually win. That's a hard lesson to learn in sports and an even harder lesson to learn in life. In life, we are so obsessed with our individual wins that we forget we're actually a part of a greater team more times than not. In life, we're so obsessed with our individual statistics that we forget it's not necessarily about us. It's about the greater good is the team winning. Because if the team wins, then I individually can more than likely win. Patrick Mahomes is learning that. Now, his post-game presser cell tells me he's not yet content with that. But even Patrick Mahomes in his ripe age in the game of football is realizing, oh, we still win even if I don't ball. It's the greatest thing that Tom Brady has realized in my mind as a defender, and Patrick Mahomes realizing it before our eyes.
God, I know what you said has a place in this world. It just doesn't have a place in this conversation because Patrick Mahomes is not playing a humble style of football. He's being humbled while he's playing football. He's not performing. He's underperforming. And that's why you see even in the post-game press conference, he can't even fake it. He knows he doesn't know how to get back to his normal form. Tom Brady made conscious choices or he was in systems that restricted him. Andy Reid ain't telling Patrick Mahomes to go out there and have your worst passer rating this season against Denver, 57.3. He's not telling him to go out there and not throw a touchdown. He's saying actually go out there and perform well. We go as you go. Now, everything else is going to be a supplement. Everything else is going to be additive in terms of the defense performing well of late, et cetera. But I just want to make sure everyone knows that it's not being humble when you're not doing your job, but you're still getting winning results. Patrick Mahomes knows this as well. And Patrick Mahomes knows this because if you look at it, this is his career worst in terms of losses in the season. Patrick Mahomes also knows this because Patrick Mahomes was raised better than this. Let's talk about him coming from a professional sports family background. Like, he knows the rigors of the game. He knows what it looks like when you get paid. He knows what it looks like when you get attention. He knows what it looks like when you have family issues and dynamics and your brother wants to be more famous than you but can't throw a football. So he knows how all that goes. But he also should have learned, and I think he did learn, but is now underperforming to that same tutelage, how to stabilize it all. The greatest attribute of Tom Brady is his stabilizing availability, his ability to go out there. Oh, the defense is great. I ain't got to do that much. Oh, the defense, a little off the mark today. I will do some more. I'm not seeing that with Patrick Mahomes. Their defense is ranked 26. What volition, what hand are you raising saying, you know what, I take a little off the fastball today? When you know that they need you and you still can't show up and perform.
That's a good point. Here's the point. Remember their defense, and if we might have the full screen from the A block. Remember their defense these last several weeks, Sel, only giving up 13 points a game.
Fact.
Their defense, I believe it's since week 6 or since week 7, is number 1 in scoring defense. Patrick Mahomes, since week 6, 2 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown pass, 5 touchdown passes, none. But prior to that, so
none.
as the Chiefs are 2-3, y'all look at this right now. The Chiefs are 2-3 through 5 weeks of the season. Through 5 weeks of the season, Patrick Mahomes, 3 touchdown passes, 3 touchdown passes, 3 touchdown passes, 5 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown passes. That's through 5 weeks of the season. Now, in week 6, as the defense got better, Sel, this might actually undercut your point, and I'm just doing this off top of my head.
Please cut it. I love it.
As the Chiefs are now 6-1, since the defense has gotten better, 13 points per game, now look since week 6, Patrick Mahomes, 2 touchdown passes, no touchdown pass, 1 touchdown pass, 1 touchdown pass, 5 touchdown passes, none and none. Patrick Mahomes has only exceeded the 2 touchdown pass mark once since week 6.
Yeah.
But prior to week 6, to week 5, he had exceeded the 2 touchdown pass mark 4 times.
Okay.
So Patrick Mahomes might actually be doing, and I'm just realizing this as you bring it up, he might be doing the very thing that you're saying he's not doing. Because when the defense was terrible, Patrick Mahomes, 3-3-3-5-2 touchdown passes. When the defense got great, Patrick Mahomes, 2, none, 1, 5, none touchdown passes. He's doing what you said he couldn't do. He's just been doing it. We just have to realize it.
Man, that sounds like one of them songs on Coco Melon my kids be listening to. But I just kept hearing the rhythm go, none. And I was like, why does it keep ending with none, dun, dada. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this. Because now, have you ever been to one of those safe rooms, they call them? Is that what it is? Where it's like adults go to a place and it's like mystery. And
Escape room.
Escape room? That's what they call them?
Yeah, a safe room is where like you go if like somebody's trying to kill you. An escape room is where you go.
That's what they told us was going to happen, but okay, escape room. All right, perfect. I only went once, you could tell, and I was sauced up. All right, here we go. In those escape rooms, I noticed that they lead you to where they want you to go, and then they be like,
get out.
You going to put some more money on these books, or you just going to get blown up? You just going to die up in this escape room? Okay. I just led you to where now you about to either put some more money on these books and we're going to have to just plow through this commercial break, or you about to die. Patrick Mahomes, you kept saying none, but then you said 5. 5. Forget the none. We know that wasn't a good part of the song. Let's talk about the 5. Because Patrick Mahomes has thrown 5 touchdown passes twice this year, right? What happened right after that? Just to point out why he's so inconsistent, why he right now has to be frustrated at his own performances. After throwing for 5 passing touchdowns and Patrick Mahomes feeling good, giving you real press conferences, going home say, done figured it out, baby. It's on. 61% completion percentage in 2 games. 2 passing touchdowns in 2 games. And 3 interceptions in 2 games. And 71 passer rating. Acho. From his highs come his greatest lows. Back to back, 2 times, not 1 time, 2 times. All I'm saying is when you can't figure you out, who cares what you're out there doing in terms of results? Because the performances certainly will suffer.
You said back to back, so it made me think of Steph Curry. Back to back MVP winner. You said back to back, so it made me think of Steph. I remember watching Steph play who was it? He played the Suns last week. Played the Suns twice. Against the Suns the first time, he shot 4 for 21 from the field. Messed around, played him again, shot 8 for 20. They won. Then he plays the Spurs later on, and he shoots 7 for 28 from the field. I'm not going to look at Steph Curry, who shot 4 for 21 in a loss and shot 7 of 28 in a loss, and tell Steph Curry to stop shooting. Nor am I going to look at Steph Curry and be worried about Steph Curry because he had a poor shooting performance 1 game and he had another poor shooting performance 2 games later. Because if I look at Steph Curry's body of work, he still is shooting 41% from 3. He's still shooting 43% from the field. He's still the greatest shooter of all time. So, yes, there might be some bad performances. Steph Curry had 2 last week alone. They caught L's twice. But when you look at the greater body of work, Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. Patrick Mahomes, did he have a bad performance last week? Sure. He have a bad performance a week before? You could argue, but Dak had a bad performance too. I think life is relative. But if you look at Patrick Mahomes' body of work, he's still playing it one of the highest quarterback levels this season, a top 5, top 10 quarterback level. So when I look at Patrick Mahomes, 2 5-touchdown pass games, name another quarterback this season with 2 5-touchdown pass games. There are no other. No. There are only 4 5-touchdown pass games all season. Mahomes has 2. Jameis Winston has 1. I believe Tom Brady has the other. So Patrick Mahomes is still playing at a high clip. You know what they tell shooters in a funk? Just keep shooting. Yeah. Same thing I'm going to tell Patrick Mahomes. Just keep throwing.
Wow. And if you look at Patrick Mahomes and think, you said greater body of work, that his is comparable to Steph Curry at the same clip, at the same time?
At the same age.
At the same age? Ooh, well, he got better ankles. That's all I need. Coming up, did Gardner Minshew's performance yesterday cause a quarterback controversy in Philly with Jalen Hurts? Yep. We'll answer that next on Speak for Yourself. Jalen Hurts was out with an ankle injury, but Gardner Minshew stepped up in a big way. Minshew finished with 2 touchdown passes and only 5 incompletions in the Eagles' win over the Jets. But after the game, Nick Sirianni said Hurts would remain the starter in Philly. So, Acho, is there a quarterback controversy in Philly already?
Obviously there is, because we're talking about it. Controversy simply means that there's something that 2 or more people are having a discussion over, and there might be some disagreement. I'm not emotionally ready for a quarterback controversy in Philly, yet here we are. And I understand it. Now, for those that are like, it's just the Jets, Acho, shut up. The Jets have a bad defense. So too do the Atlanta Falcons. So too do the Detroit Lions. And Gardner Minshew played just as well, if not better, against the Jets than our own Jalen Hurts played against the Atlanta Falcons, and our own Jalen Hurts played against the Detroit Lions. So the Jets are bad, but there are a lot of bad teams currently that the Eagles have played, and a lot of bad teams in the NFL. Here's why I think there's truly a quarterback controversy, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper for my Eagles fans and for my football fans.
Go.
Remember when Taysom Hill replaced Drew Brees last year? It wasn't just that Drew Brees is significantly better than Taysom Hill. The real thing, if you really watch the tape and look at the numbers, it's that the best player offensively for the Saints last year, Alvin Kamara, got significantly worse when Taysom Hill was in the game. Alvin Kamara typically averaged roughly 7 or 8 catches a game, roughly 70 to 80 yards a game. But when Taysom Hill was the starter, their best offensive player, Alvin Kamara, now only had about 4 catches a game, only about 40 yards receiving a game. So it wasn't just that Taysom was worse than Drew. What was more important was you mitigated the advantages of your best player. So as somebody who's watched Eagles games for the last 7 years, including playing in them the 3 years, going back to 2014 or whenever I was there, I think about this. The Eagles' best offensive player is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders, the running back, had his first 100-yard game yesterday, and he got hurt with 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. So Gardner Minshew's presence allowed the Eagles' best player to play his best. There were some other extenuating circumstances, sure. But Gardner Minshew's presence allowed the Eagles' best player to play his best. So by Gardner Minshew being present, not only did Gardner play very well, but he allowed the Eagles' best player to play his best. That, to me, is what I'm really looking at. I don't just care about the Minshew versus Hurts conversation, though there is a conversation to be had. I more so care, what does Gardner Minshew's presence allow other players to do? And what does Jalen Hurts' presence allow other players to do or keep other players from doing? That's the conversation Eagles fans really need to have. Is Hurts better in shorts and a shirt than Gardner Minshew? Probably. Is Hurts faster? Sure. But Hurts isn't throwing the ball to himself. And also, Hurts changes the game plan by his presence. So there is a controversy simply because we're having the conversation. Now the question is, where do you land on what side of the controversy?
Yes, there's certainly a quarterback controversy. Yes, Acho, you broke that down. Let me break it down even further. You said, here we are, and you're not ready for it. Well, here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons. Need to go back and watch that show. It was amazing. Okay, since we're here, let's talk about it. You started off this show and said, the NFL is not a what have you done league. It's a what have you done for me lately league. Oh, I know how this goes because I played in the greatest quarterback controversy in NFL history. Rob Johnson versus Doug Flutie, Crips versus Bloods. It was gangster in that locker room. And I know what they use for ammunition. Any and everything, including Jalen Hurts' last game, which they will say, hey, you threw for 45% completion percentage, 3 interceptions and a 17 rating. We saw last week with Gardner Minshew, 80% completion percentage, 133 rating, 2 touchdowns. Here's the problem. Hurts, he already unbeat your highest completion percentage of the entire year. In one game, 1 star. He already beat your highest passer rating already. And you failed to throw for multiple touchdowns in 4 of your last 5 games, and he did it in 1. Uh-oh, here we are. And you know who I blame? I don't blame Gardner Minshew. I blame Carson Wentz because it's not Gardner Minshew's presence, it's Carson Wentz's absence. Let's break this down. Because Carson Wentz made this situation come to reality and made it happen fast. Because Carson Wentz was so suspect, they went out there and drafted Jalen Hurts. Look at your face. And because they drafted Jalen Hurts, all of a sudden, they're sitting there like, we got Jalen Hurts here. We don't want to put him out there. But golly, Carson, not only are you not performing well, it hurts your feelings because we telling you you don't perform well. Okay, go out there, Jalen Hurts, and go ball. You know what I call this? It's a shotgun wedding. You ever seen a shotgun wedding? You ever know about the background of a shotgun wedding? And guess what? They're not married to Jalen Hurts. They just got him a mall ring. And my first engagement, my first of 4, was a mall ring. I ain't disparaging. Anybody who got a mall ring, good for you. But I got my ring next to hot dog on a stick. And let me just tell you, we were 2 arguments away from not getting married, and it only took 1 argument. We wasn't that committed. Let's just say that. At least I wasn't. So the point is, this has all happened in like rapid speed, rapid time. And I was just joking about Carson Wentz, but it is a real variable to this. Like, we really didn't seek Jalen Hurts with the same amount of commitment that we would other franchise quarterbacks. What does that mean on the flip? That means if anything goes wrong, we're going to be quicker to call this quits.
Nah, you're exactly right. First and foremost, we know that the Eagles aren't fully committed to Jalen Hurts. I personally know, along with the reports, that the Eagles were sniffing around for Deshaun Watson. You're not sniffing around for Deshaun Watson if you're fully committed to your quarterback. That's number one. We know the Eagles aren't fully committed to Jalen Hurts because while they acquired Joe Flacco this offseason, they went and traded a 6th-round pick for Gardner Minshew. You were not trading a 6th-round pick for what's going to be a 3rd-string quarterback. Then you move the 2nd-string quarterback out the way so he can be the 2nd-string quarterback.
Now we talking.
And all of a sudden you start Gardner Minshew, obviously, because Hurts is hurt, and Gardner Minshew goes out there and balls. You were not fully committed to Jalen Hurts. We know that. So should there be a controversy, there should be a conversation. Controversy just dictates how the conversation will go. But there should be a conversation. Why should there be a conversation? Gardner Minshew, touchdown-interception ratio since 2019. He falls in line with the likes of Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. You do see Kirk Cousins' name in there, but you also see Patrick Mahomes' name in there. So Gardner Minshew's not a bad football player. This is a large sample size, y'all. This is a lot of games, and a lot of touchdowns have been thrown. So we know Gardner's not bad. But here's the other thing. What can Jalen Hurts do that Gardner Minshew cannot do? Run the ball. We know that much.
Okay.
But that's what you got a 2nd-round pick in Miles Sanders for, who has 2,000-yard seasons from scrimmage. So you got a running back for. So give me a quarterback who can run when I ain't got a running back who can run. But I don't necessarily need a quarterback who can run when I got a great running back that can run. Miles Sanders, 120 yards just last game, and he didn't play with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter because he got injured. So there isn't a controversy yet. But there is a conversation, and it is a necessary, worthwhile conversation.
Yeah, that's going to lead to the controversy. It's going to brew. You're right. Hurry up and get healthy, Jalen. That's all I can tell you. And let's be real about this. Be careful, Jalen, because you don't have a mania. But Gardner Minshew had a mania. I played with a player that had a mania, Doug Flutie, and Flutie Flakes. Now, it wasn't about Doug Flutie was the best quarterback in the NFL. But you know what it was? He had tremendous performance, and more importantly, he was captivating. Say what you want about Gardner Minshew. You just gave him some props on his performances. He's also captivating. And what does that mean? That means things come to you easier. You get things that are actually greater than what your reach should be, right? Kind of like how all these commercials now, you see all these Peloton instructors on them. You notice that? Like every commercial got a Peloton I'm like, all you do is just ride a bike with a pre-tape talking about, come on. I'm like, no, I ain't even on the bike yet. You talking about, come on, pre-tape ass. So here's the thing. I think Gardner Minshew is just going to be able to grab more by who he is versus Jalen Hurts. You could give him the same exact performance, but somehow our reception, me as well, guilty, will be more captivated, something about Gardner Minshew. So in those situations, don't keep it close. Don't make it a tie, because the tie going to go to the mania. Coming up, the Cowboys are first in the NFC East. But does a red-hot Washington have their attention? We'll answer that next on For Yourself. Here we
Washington was down late yesterday, but Taylor Heineke, he led his squad on a rally to beat the Raiders with a go-ahead field goal, and Washington has now won 4 straight after previously losing 4 in a row. The 2 games behind the Cowboys in the NFC East, and will play Dallas Sunday on Fox, and once again in 2 weeks after that. So, Sel, does Washington have the Cowboys' attention?
No, they don't have the Cowboys' attention. The Cowboys are not looking back, not looking down at a team 2 behind them and saying, oh, who are you guys? You have our attention. What did T.I. say? He said it to Iggy, but he could have said it to me. Didn't want no mediocre. Remember? He don't want no mediocre. I don't know. I don't know about today's NFL and this new math what these kids are running. But 6-6, is that mediocre? T.I. don't like it. Me either. I don't want no mediocre. I'm looking at the Dallas Cowboys, a better team, better quarterback, better offense, better defense. And they take the ball away even more so, the most important statistic. So, no, they don't have their attention. To get our attention, you got to do something to get my attention. I hate when people do this. Tell me if you hate this as well. I have a lot of pet peeves, but I keep them all to myself so people think I'm nice. Because if not, I'll tell you. When somebody goes, oh, man, they waiting for you to say what? And I never give them that what. That's how I go. Oh, man. Wiley's just sitting there like, I ain't got nothing for you. Washington winning these close games, 17-15, 17-15 again, beating these suspects. Oh, man, look, Dallas, we're here. Dallas looking like, I ain't going to give you nothing. Know what for you. So, sorry, I got respect for Washington, what they can become. But right now, no, they don't have the Cowboys' attention.
So Washington should have the Cowboys' attention, and they do have the Cowboys' attention because they have my attention. Again, in football, we don't look at the totality of the season. If we're playing an opponent, we look at the 4-game cycle.
Facts.
If I look at the Cowboys' 4-game cycle, they've won 2, they've lost 2 in the last 4 games. 2 bad losses, 2. If I look at Washington 4-game cycle, they've won 4 games in a row. I don't care about what Washington did weeks 1 through 4. That has nothing to do with who Washington is right here and right now as we're pushing week 14. Washington is a team that's hot on the way up. Dallas is a team that's sputtering, just trying to stay up. Washington has beat 2 teams that the Cowboys lost to. 2 good teams. 2 good teams. You beat the Bucks. You beat the Raiders. Cowboys have only lost 4 games. So if I have lost to an opponent that Washington has beat, I got to figure out who is that Washington has beat? Because I only lost 4 games now. Wait, Washington, you beat the Broncos while the Broncos were hot. You beat the Bucks while the Bucks are, well, they the Bucks. You beat the Panthers while the Panthers were the hungriest, happiest team in football. This is Cam Newton's return. You did all that, Washington? Of course I have the Cowboys' attention. So, what's your favorite restaurant? Just
my favorite restaurant?
Or food establishment?
Bamboo. It's off of like a Pico, west side of L.A. Don't everybody flood it. That's
2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star.
They ain't got a star, but it tastes good.
Beautiful. That's my point.
I don't think it got a star.
Bamboo, I've never been there, but what I would assume is that the waitresses at Bamboo aren't necessarily as nice as the waitresses at a 5-star establishment.
Why you keep saying waitresses? There's only one.
They might not.
Waitress.
Plural.
No, there's only one waitress.
But the hostess might not be as nice or as elegant. The chef probably isn't as qualified. The decor probably isn't as esteemed.
You're right there.
The ambiance probably isn't as elegant. But it's still your favorite restaurant.
Hell yeah.
I know plenty of 5-star steakhouses in Beverly Hills that have better chefs, better ambiance, more elegant, nicer hostess, better outfits, but they're not your favorite restaurant because for whatever reason, Bamboo just finds a way to put it all together.
Yes, they do.
Washington doesn't have the better quarterback. They ain't got the better defense. They ain't got the better offense. Doesn't have the better receiving core. Doesn't have the better offensive line if Dallas' offensive line is healthy.
Like this.
But like Bamboo, Washington just finds a way to put it all together and might find a way to put it all together to be the best, not favorite restaurant, but in the NFC East, assuming they beat the Cowboys these next 2 games. Washington has my attention. Bamboo has your attention, and the Cowboys better have the attention of Washington.
Since you haven't been to Bamboo, let me just tell you what's the best thing about them. They got the best food. I don't care about all the other stuff. I'm not in my 20s or 30s when I used to go to eat somewhere, but it really mattered where I was eating. You know what I'm saying? Who looking at me while I do this? How many chains hitting the meal? Like my steak all bruised up, my chains got all sauce on them because I'm like, what's up? Like I've been through those stages where your restaurant is really the spot that has good food. I just go to the best food, and it ain't the spot. So I'm just going to the better team. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just went to the team with the better record. I'm just sorry. I just went to the team with the better ingredients that added up to the better team success, which added up to the better performances, which added up to the better record, which is Bamboo. I'm sorry, Dallas Cowboys. So here we go. Acho trying to give me some of this some of this cooking, acho cooking, right? I'm not going to your restaurant because I can see how you cook it up. Everything in there is substitute. Like, I'm like, this ain't real. Nothing is real because you want me to be excited about overachievement. Okay, that's based off of expectations. No one saw Washington coming. No one saw Taylor Heineke coming. So now analysts, hosts, people in the media are going to say, let's give some love to the team that nobody saw coming. All right. Meanwhile, Dallas Cowboys like, yoo-hoo, y'all see us coming, but we actually are here, and we actually have been here, and we're actually doing better while we're here. And no one wants to give them their props. You imagine going to a restaurant and you saying, oh, table for two, acho. Excuse me, Emmy. Table for two-time Emmy, acho, right? And you sitting there, the little waiting area by the bar, you ain't drinking, so you really hurting every second going by. Like, you gonna finally go have a drink? You sitting there, and then somebody just shows up. Somebody, I don't know, let's judge him, let's grade him. He dusty. And he just like, what's the name of this spot? And they're like, sir, may we help you? He's like, yeah, y'all got a reservation open or something? Got a table? Yeah, sure, come on in. And you be sitting there with your sober self at the bar like, how he passed me up? Why you giving so much love to a team? No reservation, ain't in a better situation. Nothing good about this team nothing better about this team than this situation in Dallas. But like most people in the media, want to clap for 8th place Timmy instead of giving love to the gold medalist Cowboys.
So I'm not giving love. All I am saying is they have my attention. All I am saying is that if I'm the Cowboys, Washington has induced some anxiety. The anxiety hasn't yet moved to fear, and the fear hasn't played itself out as stress, but Washington has induced some anxiety. 4 consecutive wins, a 6-6 football team that controls their own destiny, like the Cowboys.
Induced,
Washington.
That's your restaurant inducing people. I want to eat this junk. Coming up, the college football playoff is set. Well, I got to do the college football teasers. That's your world. But we'll tell you if we have a problem with the final rankings. That was just a good joke. My bad. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Alabama and Michigan making the college football playoff, not a surprise. But then things got interesting after that. Cincinnati is the only undefeated team at 13-0. But they're not in a Power 5 conference. And some would argue about Georgia's selection after being blown out in the SEC championship game by the Crimson Tide. So, Acho, you have a problem with the final college football playoff rankings?
Obviously, I do. And anybody who really has been watching college football throughout the course of this season should have a problem with these rankings. Here is the biggest problem. If I'm the number 2 team in the nation and I win my championship game 42-3. I win my championship game by nearly 40 points, and the number 1 team in the nation lost, I should be the number 1 team in the nation.
Oh, you're going
For
there.
clarity, again, if I'm the number 2 team in the nation, the number 1 team in the nation loses, and I win my championship game against the number 13 team in the nation by 40 points, I should be the number 1 team in the nation. Period. I have a problem with the college football rankings for that reason. Second reason I have a problem with the college football rankings is Georgia.
Georgia.
Okay. How are they number 3, Marcellus Wiley? How do you lose your championship game by 17 points and you're number 3, not even number 4? Well, come on, Acho. Remember how dominant Georgia was all season. Who's the best team Georgia beat this season? Best team Georgia beat this season by end-of-year rankings was Clemson. Clemson didn't even make the ACC championship game. Who's the second best team Georgia beat this season? Second best team Georgia beat this season was Kentucky. If we want to keep Georgia in the top 4, and by the way, Kentucky was 9-3, didn't even finish the season in the top 20. If we want to keep Georgia in the top 4, can we put them at 4? Because Cincinnati won their championship game, and the best team they beat all season is significantly better than the best team Georgia beat all season. Cincinnati beat the number 5 team by end-of-year rankings in Notre Dame. Michigan, well, by end-of-year rankings, they beat the number 6 team in Ohio State. They also beat the number 15 team in Iowa. So Georgia's number 3, Marcellus Wiley, but they don't even have a better win than Cincinnati's best win. Georgia got blown out in the SEC championship game. Georgia didn't even beat nobody. Credible, now that we can all look at it from the end-of-year vantage point. I have a huge problem with the college football rankings. I can't wait to hear what you have or do not have as a problem.
Okay, I have one problem. You've added to my thoughts in terms of other problems, but one just sticks out. One is glaring to me. The hell is Cincinnati doing in the Final Four? Be real about this. You're talking to a small school player right here. So forget Power 5 and then outside the Power 5, Powerless 5 conferences where I played football. Let me tell you why I have a problem with a smaller school getting in there with the big dogs. Because we played the NFL game and it was any given Sunday, right? Let's go back a notch. Let's go back a level where it's not about any given Saturday. It's about every damn Saturday. Mm-hmm. So when I see every damn Saturday, I start to think, Alabama, strength of schedule. Who's y'all face? Y'all in the SEC. Number 7 in terms of strength of schedule. Okay, that qualifies. Michigan, number 31 in terms of strength of schedule. Okay. You over here slighting Georgia, but they number 35 in strength of schedule. Okay, respect them dogs. Every week, we got to go through the rigors. We got to go through hell to pay. And then I look and say, where is Cincinnati? And right under Yale and Princeton, I see Cincinnati's strength of schedule. Let me stop. Was 82nd. Oh, wait a minute. 7, 31, 35, 82? So it's about not any given Saturday. Can Cincinnati go out there and upset potentially Alabama? I guess. I don't think so. But more importantly, how'd you get even in a position to potentially upset Alabama? When I saw you guys struggling with Navy, remember that, 27-20? Remember Tulsa, 28-20? Remember that goal line stand that it took to beat them in overtime, Tulsa? And you're going to play Alabama? Boy, stop. I ain't watching that game. 2-10, South Florida, y'all struggling against. And you want to cook the books for Notre Dame, and I know why you did it. 6th ranked. They weren't 6th ranked when they played them. 9th ranked. Not that far. But the point is, I don't think they qualified, man. I went to a small school. Yeah, we could have potentially beat a University of Texas if we just rallied the troops and took some good juice and But every week to put ourselves in a position to do that and qualify, to me, is an issue.
You bring up a point. I'm going to talk much more about it later for my football fans, for my college football fans later and tomorrow, but I'll start today. Sal, the problem with college football is we build all of our arguments on the end of the year based on a false premise at the beginning of the year. The false premise at the beginning of the year is that a team is as good as their preseason ranking. So at the beginning of the year, when we see, man, Georgia beat a top 3 ranked Clemson team, we view that as a win versus a top 3 team. But we know now that Clemson was not at all a top 3 team in football. When we see Georgia beat a number 18th ranked Auburn team, we know now that Auburn finished the season 6-6. Auburn wasn't at all a top 18 team in football. When we see Georgia beat an 11th ranked Kentucky team, well, we know now that Kentucky is 9-3. Kentucky was not at all a top 11 team in college football. When we see Cincinnati beat a Notre Dame team, we know now, wait a second, Notre Dame is number 6. So maybe Notre Dame should be a much more meaningful win than Georgia had all season. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to break down. We're going to do that more. But coming up, Tua did win Sunday. Tua. But he still got some shade, probably because he lives in South Beach. We'll tell you if the Giants player was keeping it 199 when he talked about Tua. That's next.
Tua!
Man, on this show, we only know how to keep it 100, but others every day, they be lying, y'all. They be keeping it 99, so we got to get to the bottom.
Let's go.
Who's really telling the truth? Case in point, Giants quarterback Mike Glennon sustained a concussion in Sunday's loss to the Dolphins. Their cornerback, Logan Ryan, said he could have stepped in as an emergency quarterback while also taking a little dig at Tua. Take a listen.
Look, I don't know if you guys saw my high school quarterback tape, but I'm going to put it out there, emergency. A lot like Tua as a lefty. I can throw 2-yard passes to the left.
Sal, was he keeping it 100 or keeping it 99?
Man, he keeping it lower than low. Oh, man, that's horrible. That's how the mood is after a loss, like 2-1, right? Didn't Tua win?
That did happen.
And you got shade like this for a dude that just beat y'all with his 2-yard left throwing self? Woo, I hate to see if y'all actually had won a game. I don't like stuff like that, dog. If I'm Tua, I got to come back.
Sal, I was listening to it and I was like, we might be reading too much into it. I think that the sentences were separate. I think he said, I'm like Tua. I'm a lefty, period. That's the thought. I can throw 2-yard passes to the left. I don't think he was saying Tua throws 2-yard passes to the left. He was just saying he's like Tua because he's a lefty, but I can throw 2-yard passes to the left.
I don't know about that. Looked like he was fighting 3-6 Mafia in the last verses to me. That's it for us. Fox Bet Live is next.